The 198 of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. Let's look at the main events over the past day. The most important news comes from the Kharkiv region, where the counteroffensive of the armed forces of Ukraine is underway. The General Staff of Ukraine officially announced that the Ukrainian army had liberated more than 20 settlements in the Kharkiv direction. As part of the defensive operation in the Kharkiv direction in order to restore the lost territories, since the beginning of the week, the armed forces of Ukraine have been cooperating actively in certain areas. At present, the military has penetrated the enemy's defenses to a depth of 50 kilometers. More than 20 settlements were liberated in the course of active operations in the Kharkiv direction, said Oleksiy Gromov, deputy head of the main operational directorate of the General Staff of Ukraine. Neither Gromov nor the summary of the General Staff of Ukraine indicates the name of these settlements. But there are already a lot of videos from there on social networks. First of all, Ukrainian troops entered the settlement of Balaklia. Yesterday afternoon, a photograph appeared showing the Ukrainian flag flying over a building in the city. Later, the photograph with a flag on the central square. And later there were also videos with the Ukrainian military near the administration building. Residents of Balaklia confirmed that the Ukrainian military had entered the city. We entered from the western side. There was machine gun fire in the city, but not for long. It's quiet now. There were no city battles. Apparently, the Russians themselves left, the city residents said. In the videos that are being published now from Balaklia, there are also no sounds of urban battles. So it can really be assumed that the Russian troops left on their own, without a fight, or there was a fight, but not a long one. And the Ukrainian army is now taking control of the city. The day before, there was information in Russian telegram channels that units of the Russian Guard were withdrawn from the city, but allegedly units of the Russian army entered their place. As you can see, they didn't. Or they entered, but immediately retreated. Another place to which attention was riveted is the settlement of Shevchenkovo, which opens the way to the city of Kupiansk. The fighting there has been going on since yesterday. A number of Russian telegram channels report that Shevchenkov in the Kharkiv region, for which there have been battles in recent days, is under the control of the Ukrainian army, and now the fighting is approaching Kupiansk. There was a photo of the Ukrainian military at the entrance to Shevchenkov. Russian military telegram channels write that fighting is already underway on the outskirts of Kupiansk in the village of Grushevka. At the same time, in the city of Kupiansk itself, the authorities appointed by the Russians announced the evacuation of women and children, and the city, according to Russian military correspondents, was closed to entry and was searching for saboteurs. The armed forces of Ukraine are advancing towards a strategically important interchange near the villages of Veseloy and Kyuni, east of Balaklia and north of Izium. So far, there is no information that the denouement has been taken. At the same time, Ukrainian journalists report that the Ukrainian military moved far to the southeast and captured the villages of Sinica and Sinkovo near the Oskol Reservoir. It is reported that the Russians deployed paratroopers to dangerous areas. Aviation and heavy flamethrower systems Solnsapek also work. But in general, the situation for the Russian forces has developed so hard for the first time since the beginning of the war. The development of the Ukrainian offensive threatens them with blocking Izium from the north, and then, in the future, with a strike on it from the south from the Donetsk region, which will completely encircle this strategically important city. Without control over Izium, the Russian army will not be able to develop an offensive in the northern Donbass. Moreover, it may lose the territories already occupied there on the left bank of the Seversky Donets River and rolled back to the Lugansk region. That can completely break plans for an offensive in the north of the Donetsk region. At the moment, it is not yet very clear whether Russia has the reserves to stop the advance of Ukraine. On the one hand, near the border with Russia, and the entire territory north of Kupiansk is also controlled by the Russians. That is, reserves can be thrown up quite quickly. On the other hand, judging by the rapid advance of the Ukrainian forces and the withdrawal from Balaklia, the reserves have not yet arrived, or they are in insufficient numbers. There are also reports that Russian troops are retreating from positions without even accepting a fight. That is, they just give them away. The coming days will show whether the Ukrainian offensive will also develop rapidly further, or whether the Russians will be able to stop it at certain lines and prevent the encirclement of Izium. On the whole, in the informational and moral political terms, everything that is happening is perceived as a serious blow to Russia. Moreover, the Russian command has not provided any more or less clear explanations of what is happening. But, I repeat, much depends on the further development of events at the front. And not only in the Kharkiv region. Meanwhile, in the Donetsk direction, the Russians continue to attack. There are reports of street fighting in the city of Soledar near Bakhmut, as well as fighting on the outskirts of Bakhmut itself. The city is under heavy shelling. Also, the Russian side continues to declare progress in the area of the settlement of Pesky, Donetsk Airport, and Avdiivka. And the General Staff of Ukraine declares that attacks in all directions have been repulsed. As for the Kherson region, after a couple of days of relative calm, serious battles began again. Russian military telegram channels report a breakthrough of Russian defenses in the Pozad-Pokrovsky area. The battle there continues. The Ukrainian military are conducting offensive operations. That's all for now. I'm waiting for your opinion in the comments. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.